Alrighty guys, and welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars Heir to the Empire, which was a novel written by Timothy Zahn and was released in May 1991, which a novel is really the first big expanded universe story for Star Wars. There were novels like Splinter of the Mind's Eye, the Han Solo and Lando Calrissian novels, and the original Marvel comic series, and some other stuff, but this was really the story which set off the large amounts of novels and comics we still get to this day. Obviously in 2014 there was the canon reset, putting this story into the Legends continuity, but obviously characters like Thrawn, who's the main villain of the novel, have made their way into canon stories, and obviously for Thrawn, you've made it into live action stories, but obviously there's other elements, locations or just stuff from this novel which have appeared in canon stories, like the one location in the novel, Mount Tantus, has appeared recently in the animated series, The Bad Batch, so a lot of stuff has appeared in more recent stories, what originated from this novel, but the novel and the two subsequent novels forming the trilogy are probably the most well-known Star Wars novels and some of the most well-received ones, so today I'm going to be reviewing it, as today is May 4th, Star Wars Day, but this will also be my 1000th video, and I think 500th Star Wars review, if I calculated it correctly. I do know this is my 1000th video, so with all that said, let's dive into my review, which it is a really great novel, and truly does live up to the hype. It is very much a page turner, and I thought the pacing was great. The first half is pretty fast paced with a lot of action and funness, but then the second half it slows down a lot and focuses more on the characters, with a lot of emphasis on Luke and the new character Mara Jade. But then the final few chapters are a lot more faster paced again, and so I thought the pace and this structure were great, and really the reason the novel worked so well for me. But I was also into the story and the characters and whatnot, which with the characters, obviously, Luke, Han, and Leia are the main characters of the novel, with most of the other cast of characters from the original trilogy returning, like Lando, Chewie, 3PO, R2, and Wedge Antilles, who have probably the biggest supporting roles of the returning characters. There are characters like Mon Mothma and Admiral Akbar, but they kind of have smaller roles in this novel. But obviously I like all those characters already, and so I thought Zahn captured the characters well, while also pushing them forward in interesting ways, which I'd say Luke probably gets the most attention and screen time. Obviously it's a book, so it's not screen time, but you understand what I'm getting at. But I say that mainly because we see him dealing with some more issues what only he's dealing with some Force visions he's having, which I'll get into that more later. But obviously at this time, him, Leia, and Han are, helping form the New Republic and whatnot. While also Luke is helping train Leia to become a Jedi. And so I like seeing him and the other two kind of deal with all that. But with the characters, I do wish we got a little more with Leia in the second half of the novel. As one of the bigger conflicts from the first half of the novel is that she's being hunted by these species called the Nogri, which we know that Thrawn sent them after her and Luke, and so I was quite into that, but then the second half of the novel doesn't focus on it as much, and she's just not as present in the second half of the novel. Obviously it's because she is hiding out on Kashyyyk, but there is a bigger moment and reveal in the second half of the novel with all that, which I enjoyed a good bit, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. But even though, I love all those characters, the characters I was the most into were the ones introduced in the novel. Obviously, Grand Admiral Thrawn makes his first appearance, and, he's the main villain of the novel. But he also has his sidekick, I guess, Captain Pellaeon, which most of the scenes with Thrawn are through the eyes of Pellaeon. And so I enjoyed that, as Pellaeon kind of acts as the reader, learning more about Thrawn and all of his tactical moves and whatnot. And so I enjoyed that, but with Thrawn and the Empire in this novel, it's mostly more about him plotting to take down the New Republic and all of his planning there and whatnot. At the very end of the novel, he does attack a New Republic shipyard, but does end up actually losing. But the thing I found most interesting was he believes the Empire is failing now because of the death of Palpatine, as there isn't a Force user to help control the Empire's forces, where the New Republic does with Luke and now Leia. And so he wants to capture them. But first, he finds the clone of a Jedi named Joros Cybaoth, and Thrawn finds him on the planet Wayland in Mount Tantus. But Thrawn is using him to lure out Luke as he makes Cybaoth kind of send a message out to the galaxy, saying that he has returned. But I was into the stuff with Cybaoth in this novel, which at first Thrawn uses him to prove his theory that Palpatine was making the Empire better, as he kind of has Cybaoth control the Imperial forces in an attack, and it ends up kind of working, kind of proving Thrawn's theory correct. But Cybaoth wants Luke to do Force stuff on him, which Thrawn promises to Cybaoth that he can have him. Obviously, we know Thrawn is lying to him, but I'm definitely interested to see where everything goes there. Obviously, I do know where a lot of this stuff goes in the next two novels, but not the full exact. So excited to see how all that actually fully plays out there. But the second biggest new character was Mara Jade, who acts more as a, second antagonist for Luke. Maybe, kind of the main antagonist for Luke in this novel, as we see that she just kind of downright hates him, which the second half of the novel kind of focuses on her and Luke a lot, which I talked about earlier, that Luke was having a lot of visions, and there was visions of moments from Jabba's palace and the sail barge and whatnot. And so throughout the novel, we see him trying to figure it all out, but it ends up being related to Mara, as we see them get stuck with each other. And so the mystery of why she hates him so much starts to get unraveled, as she was working for Jabba at the time, but that was actually a cover because she was working for the Emperor to find and kill Luke, and that she is also a Force user, which Luke's reaction to it all seemingly starts to make her second guess him, as he doesn't seem to care and does forgive her. So I enjoyed that, and once again, I do know where their relationship goes, so I am interested to see how it will all eventually play out and whatnot. But the last bigger new character is a smuggler named Talon Card, who's Mara Jade's boss, who at first we see help Thrawn by giving him these creatures called the Islarmi, which they're able to block the Force, so meaning someone like Luke isn't able to use the Force around them. And with Mara working for Card, and on the planet they're on, it has a bunch of these creatures, so she's also not able to use the Force. But I found the creatures interesting, which Thrawn does use them against Cybaoth, but I assume also wants to use them for when he captures Luke and Leia. But Card, you eventually see sides with the New Republic, as Han and Lando come to him looking for someone to transport supplies and whatnot for the New Republic. And while Han and Lando come to him, we see that Card has captured Luke, and Thrawn wants Luke, and so a bunch of stuff goes down there, which eventually leads to Card agreeing to help the New Republic. Which, speaking of the New Republic, we do see a little bit of the political side of things there, a little bit of some inner turmoil inside the new government, which I was interested in. It is kind of a more minor plot point in the novel, but the end of the novel teases a lot more to it, so definitely excited to dive into that more in the next one. And just in general, excited to kind of dive into the next two novels and see how everything fully plays out. Like I said, I do know a lot of the major plot points and whatnot of the novels, but I actually haven't read them till now. I haven't read the second and third one at all yet, but obviously I'm going to. So, excited to dive into those two. But with this novel, something more minor I found interesting was obviously the novel's 33 years old. Came out almost 10 years before the prequel movie started. And obviously since then there's been so much more stuff added to the Star Wars lore. So it was interesting kind of seeing some stuff. Like one of the biggest thing was the term Sith isn't used at all in the novel. Like Palpatine and Vader are referred to as Dark Jedis. And so I found like stuff like that quite interesting. Just seeing how much stuff changes and whatnot. And also how little some stuff changes. So yeah. But anyways, I think that's everything I have to say about it. I did read the novel a couple months ago and just didn't get around to doing this review. So everything isn't fully fresh in my mind, so there's probably something I forgot to talk about, but I think I got everything I really wanted to talk about. But like I said, next I'll review Dark Force Rising and The Last Command, and after that I'll eventually review some more Legends novels and whatnot. But my grade 4, Heir to the Empire, is going to be an A+. But that's going to be it for this one. You can check out all my canon Star Wars reviews, as this is, I think, the first Legends thing I'm going to be reviewing, or well, at least on the publishing side of things. But I'll be doing more Legend stuff along with canon stuff and whatnot, so you check all that stuff out once I do that. But I've been Star Wars Review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.